Okay, so you shared some really fascinating material earlier about a new way to work with AI.
Yeah, it's definitely caught my eye. The source describes it as well, a distributed cognitive system. Quite a term.
Distributed cognitive system, right.
Okay.
So it's not just like firing off a prompt to one AI and seeing what happens?
No, not at all. It's much more complex. The core idea is using multiple AIs, different ones working together, collaboratively.
Okay, collaboration. But the material mentioned it wasn't just a simple sequence, right? It's more iterative.
Exactly. That's the key. It's iterative. They build on each other's outputs, refine things, go back and forth. It's not an assembly line.
A back and forth. Interesting. The source called it a dialectical interplay, I think.
That's the phrase they used, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a conversation almost between these specialized AIs. One proposes, another critiques or builds.
And the goal is pretty ambitious, based on what you shared. Precision, depth, and stylistic elegance.
That's the target. High standards. They're aiming for a really polished, deeply considered final product.
And this workflow idea seemed absolutely central to achieving that. It wasn't just random AIs talking, it was structured.
Absolutely. The workflow is critical. The source lays out this whole multi-stage methodology. Very deliberate. Each step has a purpose, uses a specific AI for its strength.
That structure is what I find really compelling. It's quite interesting the way they've thought it through.
It is. There's a clear logic behind it.
Okay, so for this deep dive, I think we really need to, unpack that workflow, understand the stages, why they're set up this way.
Sounds good. Where should we start? Phase 1.
Yeah, let's jump in. Phase 1, epistemic filtering and foundational grounding. Using DeepSeek. Why start there? What's the rationale?
Well, this is where it gets philosophically interesting right off the bat. The text is very explicit. DeepSeek was chosen for its inherent leanings.
Leanings, how so?
It describes DeepSeek as having a disposition that's atheistic, scientific, analytic, often terse, even materialistic. So it acts as a filter based on that worldview.
A filter. Okay, so it's setting a specific tone, a specific grounding from the very beginning, like filtering out certain kinds of ideas.
Exactly. The text calls it semantic triage. It's designed to strip away, quote, superfluous layers, things like mysticism, ambiguity, ideological noise, establishing an epistemically clean base.
Wow, okay, that's quite a strong starting point. So its job is essentially to create this very focused, scientifically grounded core concept.
That's it, precisely. The output they want is an epistemically clean conceptual skeleton framed from that specific scientific materialist perspective. Everything else builds on that.
Got it. A very deliberately constrained foundation. So once DeepSeek has laid that groundwork, phase 2 kicks in. Inferential amplification and cognitive grafting, using ChatGPT. Why ChatGPT now?
Right, so if DeepSeek provides the strict filtered core, ChatGPT, specifically GPT-4, similar, comes in because it's seen as having, well, more robust cognitive sophistication. It's better at building complex arguments.
Inferential amplification and cognitive grafting. That sounds technical but descriptive. What does grafting mean here?
It basically means ChatGPT doesn't just get the original prompt. It gets DeepSeek's filtered output, too, as both information and constraints.
Ah, I see.
So ChatGPT's task is to expand on DeepSeek's ideas, build out the reasoning, create structure, but within those philosophical boundaries DeepSeek already established.
So it fleshes things out, adds the logical connections, the structure, but it has to stay inside the lines drawn by DeepSeek.
Exactly. It integrates DeepSeek's rigorous baseline with its own power for reasoning and organization. The goal is a high-precision synthesis, more detailed, but still adhering to that initial filtering.
Okay, that interplay makes sense. Foundation first, then elaboration within limits. With phase 3, architectural drafting and textual seeding. Still with ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT again, but with a different focus. Now it's about taking that structured reasoning from phase 2 and actually turning it into prose, into a draft.
Architectural drafting, like building the actual text structure. So this is where the first proper draft emerges.
That's right. ChatGPT generates the initial full text, but, and this is important, it uses a template.
A template, like a style guide or an outline.
Could be either, or even an example of previous work, something to guide the structure, the voice, the format. It ensures the first draft, the textual seed, aligns with what they want the final piece to look and sound like. It's quite methodical.
Yeah, you can really see the step-by-step building process. Okay, leads us to phase 4, metaconceptual reframing and stylistic enrichment. And this uses Claude. What's Claude's role?
Claude is brought in for its perceived strengths in metaconceptual reframing, looking at the ideas from a higher level, finding new angles. and also for style-generating richer, more nuanced prose.
Metaconceptual reframing sounds like adding a deeper layer of thinking.
Yeah, potentially seeing connections or implications that weren't obvious before, and just making the writing itself more sophisticated, more persuasive, adding elegance, really, after ChatGPT laid the groundwork.
But the source mentioned needing to manage Claude, right? Its tendency towards expansive elaboration, keeping it on track.
Definitely. That's a key point. Claude might, wander off on tangents if not guided. So the process involves keeping it focused on the core argument while it adds that depth and rhetorical polish.
So enrich, deepen, polish, but don't drift away from the main point.
Exactly. The output should be richer, maybe broader in scope, where relevant, stylistically layered, but still tightly focused on the central thesis.
Okay, we're getting close now. Phase 5, holistic integration and editorial harmonization. And this uses Gemini. Sounds like the final polish.
It really is. Gemini's job is described as the editor, the harmonizer. It takes everything from the previous stages and synthesizes it into one seamless, coherent piece.
So checking for consistency, flow, grammar, tone, making sure it all hangs together.
Precisely. Rigorous checks for coherence, logical flow between sections, consistent voice, all the editorial stuff.
Makes sense.
And importantly, Gemini also checks back against the original prompt and ensures the final text still aligns with that initial epistemic stance set by DeepSeek way back in phase 1.
Ah, so it ensures nothing got lost or distorted through all those refinement stages.
Right. It's about final clarity, conciseness, elegance, making it truly publication ready. It's fascinating using an AI for that final editorial pass.
It really is. Okay, and the last one, phase 6. Dynamic adaptation and explicit feedback cycles. This sounds different, less about the specific text and more about the process itself.
Exactly. This phase acknowledges that AI is constantly changing. New models, new capabilities, so the workflow can't be rigid. It needs to adapt.
Okay, so how does that work, this feedback cycle?
It involves deliberately tweaking the process. Maybe feeding Gemini's output back to Claude for another style pass, or using Claude to critique DeepSeek's initial filtering. It's about actively testing the interactions.
So you're sort of stress testing the system, seeing where the strengths and weaknesses are between the different models.
You got it. The text even calls it methodological AI anthropology, studying how the AIs behave within this structure to make the workflow itself better over time.
Methodological AI anthropology.
Oh.
Wow. So it's a learning system, not just a production line. It's designed to evolve.
That's the idea. Continuously optimizing how these different AI agents collaborate for the best results.
Okay, let me try and quickly recap this whole thing. It's quite intricate.
Yeah.
Phase 1, DeepSeek for that foundational filtering, setting the specific scientific sort of clean core.
The epistemic grounding.
Right. Phase 2, ChatGPT takes that core and builds it out logically, fleshes out the argument's inferential amplification.
Within DeepSeek's constraints, yeah.
Phase 3, ChatGPT again, but this time drafting the actual text based on a template, architectural drafting.
The first full draft, the seed.
Then phase 4, Claude comes in for the metaconceptual reframing, adding depth, nuance, stylistic polish, but needs careful handling.
The enrichment phase.
Phase 5, Gemini acts as the editor, holistic integration, making sure it's all coherent, consistent, polished, and still aligned with phase 1.
The final harmonization.
And finally, phase 6 is that meta-level dynamic adaptation, constantly testing and refining the workflow itself using feedback loops.
That's a great summary. You can see it's definitely not simple, but it is a very logical, dynamic process. Each phase builds leveraging specific AI strengths.
Yeah, that deliberate design is what's so interesting. And that phrase, dialectical refinement, really captures it, doesn't it? This back and forth using different strengths.
It does. It's the core mechanism, that interplay leading to, hopefully, a better result than any single AI could produce alone.
And the adaptability part, phase 6, that feels crucial too. Recognizing that this isn't a fixed solution, it has to evolve. That methodological AI anthropology idea is quite something.
It shows a real awareness of the, rapidly changing landscape of AI development.
Absolutely. And the way the source wraps it up is, well, pretty profound, calling it not just a methodology, but a metacognitive system, even an algorithm of the self.
Yes, suggesting it reflects more than just a process. It reflects philosophical choices, maybe even how we structure our own thoughts.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How these structured ways of working with AI might actually change how we approach creating knowledge or any kind of complex work.
It certainly does. It blurs the lines a bit, maybe, between the tool and the user's own cognitive processes. Definitely food for thought.